After years of turmoil with the Rampart scandal, the Rodney King incident, and the L.A. riots, has the federal consent decree finally got the LAPD under control? Or is the latest chief just a better player at inner-city politics? We'll interview Los Angeles Police Chief William Bratton next on Full Disclosure. Seven of the shots struck the driver, causing his death. Completely unknown to the officers was the driver of the Toyota was a 13-year-old boy, Devon Brown. For some reason, the police commission got deeply involved in this officer-involved shooting and overruled the findings of the police department.
There's a process that is followed for any officer-involved shooting or any significant use of force. The process for the incident involving Devon Brown was exactly the same as we would use for any other situation.
We questioned Chief Bratton if he thinks his bosses, the commissioners, have suitable experience to sit in judgment of police officers who face life and death situations.
I believe they do. They're a highly skilled group. No system is perfect. The one we have is the one prescribed by law. It is what it is. And whether people like it or not, it is what it is.
We asked Chief Bratton if he worries about officers becoming discouraged by rulings like this.
No, I don't. In terms of individual officers may be concerned about this, but they go out and do their job.
We asked Chief Bratton to describe how his department is dealing with the homeless in Los Angeles.
The situation here in Los Angeles is a national disgrace, that the size of the homeless population, the lack of services available to them, and the policy over many years to concentrate all those services in one area of the city. Problem here, from my perspective, has been that the policies, while generous on their face, are not supported by the resources necessary to deal with a population that has been purposely concentrated into one area of the city, but that population is so large that you can go anywhere in this city and see homeless, and you don't have to look very hard.
How do you feel about the politicalization of a police department? Do you think that is just something that always occurs, or is it something, how do you deal with it?
Well, first off, I think you'd be hard-pressed to find any commonality of definition of the term politics and politicization as it relates to the police department. The mayor runs on certain goals and priorities, and so is that politics? Is that politicization of the department when the mayor says to me that you meet the mandates of the consent decree, you're going to be charged with improving crime, the crime situation in the city, and you're also going to focus on dealing with terrorism. Is that politicization, or is that just good government?
We asked the chief to define his policy of allowing citizens to carry firearms for self-protection.
We, by and large, issue very few concealed weapon permits. The city, fortunately, has, I think there's only about one place left in the city you can buy a firearm. I'm a strong gun control advocate. Not gun elimination, but rather control, licensing, regulation of the firearms. And I think that would be a valuable tool to police in terms of reducing violence and reducing the propensity for violence.
We asked Chief Bratton to tell us about what progress has been made in complying with all the aspects of this massive and expensive federal consent decree.
Well, we will in June complete the 5 years of the original consent decree. It's quite likely that the judge will issue an order that the decree will continue, probably not as in comprehensive a fashion as has been the case for the previous 5 years. A lot of areas we've met compliance and consistently been in compliance.
In a prior interview, our then new Chief Bratton told us the cost of the federal consent decree over a 5-year period would run into the hundreds of millions of dollars.
The figures nobody really knows, because so much of what is talked about as a consent decree cost is effectively the business of doing the business of policing and doing it. And while there has been some cost, a lot of what is oftentimes talked about as cost is really investment. This is an organization that the city had not invested a great deal of money in many key areas, and now in the consent decree has been forced to do that. And the city will reap the benefits of that investment in that we will hopefully reduce the number of lawsuits against the department for misbehavior of our personnel. That will save money ultimately, so that the investment of some millions now will save many millions more in the future.
At one time, it was estimated there would be over 300 sworn personnel involved in the implementation of the consent decree at their desks, involved in processing everything that was needed. How many do we have now?
I couldn't even begin to tell you, because once again, you have no ability to pull away people that are working on essential components of managing the department and that have consent decree responsibilities.
The federal consent decree was supposed to go away after 5 years if the police department was found to be in compliance for 2 consecutive years. If you were to be relieved of the consent decree, as it was hoped originally that after 5 years you would be, wouldn't that free up money and officers to put them on the streets?
Not a great deal. The bulk of the people we have doing what I've described as consent decree related activities would probably continue in that capacity. Their responsibilities might change somewhat, but there's not going to be a significant post-consent decree benefit that all of a sudden hundreds of officers are freed from their desks to go running into the streets. This doesn't work that way. We've shown that, one, our intention is to keep these practices within the organization. Just because consent decree ends, we're not going to just throw them away. But that secondly, by not having to focus as much attention on all 168, it would allow us to move more quickly to get into compliance with those last few remaining ones that have proven to be more difficult or more intractable.
With the current focus on international terrorism, we asked Chief Bratton if he thought it was important to revise Special Order 40.
No, in that Special Order 40 still remains a policy that is strongly supported by the Mayor, City Council, Police Commission, and myself as Chief of Police. I don't have a particular problem.
If an officer were to suspect that somebody was in the street population that might be of danger to the community, are they permitted to ask who they are?
Nope. Not permitted to ask their immigration status. You can ask a lot of other questions, but you cannot ask, are you in the country illegally? They're not allowed to do that.
And so the LAPD is moving forward to make Los Angeles the safest possible city. We asked Chief Bratton to summarize his accomplishments and his goals for the future.
Well, in summary, that this is a pretty good time in the city, in the history of the department. We're getting excellent resources for our facilities, for our technology. We are hiring police officers, and we encourage people to look at us. That we pay very well, $51,000 a year to start. It's a great organization. And good news is crime is continuing to go down. We are improving our terrorism response as well as prevention capabilities. And the consent decree will be complied with. No, it's a good time for this city, this department, and for the people who live here.
Well, thank you very much.